Hey guys, welcome back to another great game of CEDH. I survived Chicago and was able to record a bunch of awesome gameplays while there. And speaking of awesome gameplays, today we are joined by Callahan from the Mindsculptors on Tivit, Seller of Secrets. Clues, treasures, and time thief go hand in hand with the ever-powerful thrasios as backup. Next up is Chris, the Commander Mechanic on Plagon. This Azorius Starfish is all about drawing cards, flickering your commander, and trying a bunch more. In the third spot we have Hidden on Glarb. His moistness is off Doomsday, well at least for now, aiming to control the board from the top of his library. And bringing up the rear is Jordan on Hashaton, aiming for discard shenanigans that let you win out of basically nowhere and around both counterspells and interaction. Alright, block there, kill that, that is trample. Guess I'm just dead on board. Cal starts off the game with a Bloodstained Mire, to which they crack it for a scrub land, shortcutting as they cast an Esper Sentinel, to which Jordan pays 2 life to mental misstep it, to which Cal fires back with a misstep of their own. Chris then heads to his turn and has a tap Soporific Springs as land for turn, with him then ending his turn with an Ornithopter. Hidden plays and cracks a Flooded Strand for an Underground Sea, but passes the turn there as he searches out the land. Jordan plays out a Marsh Flats and passes the turn. Cal has an Exotic Orchard and passes it there. Chris then plays out a Tundra and continues the trend as he also passes it. Hidden will then play and crack a Windswept Teeth for a Trop, and then for 2 cast a Bloom Tender, with Jordan at his end step cracking his own fetch for a tapped Watery Grave. Jordan also has a Windswept Heath, cracking the fetch for a Tundra, and tapping 2 for a Fellwar Stone, with Cal then drawing off their Esper Sentinel. Cal then plays out the 3rd Tundra on the field, and continues it passing it there. Chris has a Manamo as land for turn, and for 3 casts a Delny.
Streetwise look at.
Ooh.
That is a very good card. I don't have any response.
Me neither. I hate that, but you got it.
All right. I'm going to pass the turn from here.
Hidden also has a Manamo, and then taps his land for his commander Glarb, who resolves with Hidden ending his turn looking at the top card. Jordan plays out a Sea of Clouds, and for 2 casts a Pollywog Prodigy, following the frog up with his commander Hashaton, who unfortunately does not grow the frog. Cal untaps, plays an Otawara as land, and for 4 languishes.
I get rid of Delny, Hashaton, and Pollywog. Feels worth.
You're not wrong, but I want my stuff to survive.
What are you gonna do?
I am going to cast a Vampiric Tutor. I will pay the 1. I guess I will keep up a green floating. Hidden then finds a card to top, and then free casts a Force of Will off the top, exiling a Born Upon the Wind.
Yeah, sure. Hashaton and Pollywog Prodigy and Delny are not problems. It's fine. They're fine.
This is fine.
You're not wrong. I need my manas, and that's the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I got nothing.
Okay.
Chris plays out a Marsh Flats, and for 3 casts his commander Plagon, which enters, and due to Delny, double triggers to draw him 4 cards. But he has no follow-up as he discards a Ghostly Flicker and an Urza Saga due to hand size. Hidden untaps, and in his upkeep taps Glarb to surveil 2. He'll mill an Urborg and then draw the other. Hidden then plays out a Command Tower as land for turn, and casts a Legolas's Quick Reflexes on his Glarb. He will pay the 1, and then taps the frog to once again surveil. This time when he taps it, Glarb will deal 2 Death Touch damage to Hashaton, killing the commander, with Hidden then surveilling a Deathrite to the grave. Hidden then activates Manamo to untap Glarb, and then taps him immediately, this time putting 2 damage on Delny. But Chris has a response as he cracks his Marsh Flats for an untapped Hollowed Fountain, using the land to Cloud Shift, targeting Delny. Cal will then draw off the Esper, with Delny surviving and Hidden debating over his Surveil 2 trigger.
I feel like the correct answer there might have been to flicker Plagon, but
Yeah.
it's hard to tell with that deck.
Yeah.
As we said earlier,
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
this is a big
also
question mark.
Discarded a ghostly flicker. So.
Yeah. This deck is an enigma to me.
Yes.
I 100% understand.
And I literally helped Ian brew this deck, and I just went, I don't get it, but this seems like a good card, I guess.
Yeah.
This is the first deck that I've been like, yeah, Delny feels really good here that I've like brewed around. Yeah, I've seen people play Delny and like Timna Crom, and I'm like, I don't know. Seems like that could be a better 3-drop to me, but
Play a Ristic Study.
I'm so sad. Paying
really
the one
like
for
seeing it
Esper
with,
Sentinel, I would have been able to play something really cool.
I low-key think with the Plagon out, paying for the Esper Sentinel might be incorrect.
Yeah.
Just because you kind of want me to be able to play control a little bit.
You're not wrong. Granted, I didn't know what I had on top.
That's also true.
to
Hindsight
do
is
it.
2020.
Yeah, hindsight is 2020. So I will mill this Yavimaya off the Surveil trigger, keep this on top. Jordan then heads to his turn and plays out a City of Brass as land, tapping 2 for a Ghostly Pilferer, who on ETB grows the Polywog Prodigy. Cal untaps and casts a Soul Ring. Jordan will draw off the Polywog, with Cal then following it up with a Tezzeret, who immediately downticks 4, killing the Walker, but grabbing Cal a 1 ring, to which they tap it to draw 1. Chris untaps and shockingly passes it there. Hidden then heads to his turn and for 4 casts a Clever Impersonator, which enters as a copy of the 1 ring, gaining hidden protection, with him then tapping it to draw 1. He then looks at the top and plays an Ancient Tomb off the top as land for turn. Jordan then heads to his turn, untaps, and for 5 recast Hashaton. Cal will then take 1 off the ring and then proceed to tap it to draw 2 more, following that up with a Dothy Voidwalker, with Chris at end step flashing in a Restoration Angel. Hidden will respawn by activating Minamo to untap his ring, tapping to draw 2, but he doesn't find anything else, as Plagon is then flickered, drawing Chris 6 cards this time. Chris then untaps and casts a Mox Diamond. He discards the Gemstone Cavern into the Dothy zone, with Jordan getting a draw off the Polywog. Chris will pay for Esper, as he then casts an active Mox Opal. Jordan draws again, with Chris deciding to join the club, as he casts his own 1 ring. Chris will then gain protection and tap the ring to draw, to which he then follows that up with a tapped Mystic Sanctuary. He then hands the turn over, with Hidden at end step tapping Glarb to surveil away a Reverent Silence. Hidden untaps and takes 2 from his 1 ring. Hidden then pays 2 life on a Noxus Revival to put his Legolas's quick reflexes back on top. He doesn't pay for the Esper, with Jordan drawing as well. The quick reflexes is then put on top, with Hidden then tapping his ring to draw 3. Next up, Hidden then casts an Unbargained Beseech the Mirror, to which he finds a Valley Floodcaller to put in hand. A Cavern of Souls then comes out, with Hidden naming Wizards, to which he then taps the land to help cast the Tutored Floodcaller. Hidden will then tap his commander to surveil 2, pinning a Force of Negation and a Misty to the Dothy zone. Hidden then casts the Legolas's quick reflexes targeting Glarb. Jordan will still get a draw off his Polywog, and Glarb then untaps, and then retaps to ping the Polywog and surveil again. This time, Hidden bins a Flusterstorm and a Malevolent Hermit. Hidden then casts a Talisman of Dominance, which triggers the Floodcaller to untap his birds, otters, and frogs. Glarb is then retapped to ping Delny, to which Chris responds with the Retraction Helix on his Ornithopter.
And that just says you can tap it to bounce something?
To bounce a permanent.
Okay.
I hate that card is hitting CDH play now.
Stupid.
So much.
It's
I hate
dumb.
it so much. But the thing is it's getting played and shit like that, and like Rograk and shit, and I'm just like, I fucking hate it. It's so dumb.
I don't have any response.
Do you have are you gonna pay for Sentinel?
I'm not.
Okay.
You can draw.
I think I am fine with this. I pass priority.
Right.
I'm assuming you want to bounce that Delny, don't you?
Probably.
That's what my intuition is telling me.
Is that what your Spidey sense is telling
That's what
you?
my Spidey sense is telling me. God, this just feels so shitty.
I know, right? Doesn't it just? You want to counter my?
I'm like
fucking
pretty sure this
retraction
is
deal?
objectively correct, but it feels so shitty.
It's terrible. Oh,
No, let
I
him get
mean,
rid of the
with
valley.
this under your Dothy, it's probably correct to just.
No, I kind of want to keep the Dothy around as
No, I'm like
yeah.
being able to like keep the Dothy and use your resources then.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. But it just sucks so bad to counter this spell. Listen,
Can you keep this monologue?
as somebody who plays Control basically exclusively, you never want to counter the rinky-dink spell. And this is like the definition of like a non-huge spell, but it's like I think this is genuinely correct to Swan Song, the retraction helix.
yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
So, just
right.
to clarify, your Glarb stuff is going to be pointed at him this turn, correct?
That's the goal.
All right.
Right now, it's pointed.
Downey is
at
very much the
Yeah.
problem at the table.
Yeah, yes, I am
I
very
drew
well
6
aware.
cards off of a blink. Like I.
You have drawn 10 cards.
Yes.
Collectively.
He's like, sir.
Yeah.
I have
My
no
brother in
thoughts.
Christ.
Okay.
My
so
brother in Christ.
It will be Swan Song.
Yeah.
All right. I will get a bird. You Swan Songed a retraction.
I know, it fucking sucks.
You will go home and cry.
I'm
tonight.
gonna cry right now.
But you know what's great is you can just cast it again on your turn with your Dothy.
Okay. So the Glarb
Yep.
trigger is still on the stack.
Yes.
Okay. Retraction Helix has been countered.
Yep.
It is going to resolve. Delney will die finally.
All right. I will then
And the
surveil too.
schoolyard cheered in amazement.
Hidden will then surveil an overgrown tomb and a dryad of the Elysium Grove to the Dothy zone. Next up, Hidden then casts a Scheming Symmetry, targeting him and Chris. This puts a Valley Floodcaller to untap, while both players search out something to the top. Hidden then taps Glarb to surveil, and pings a Dothy this time. Dothy dies, with Hidden then responding to the surveil with a Deadly Rollick off the top. He targets the Ghostly Pilferer, and this puts another untap and a card draw to Jordan off the Pilferer. Glarb then untaps, but Jordan does have a Mindbreak trap to stop the exile. Cal will then draw off the Esper, and then fire back with a Force of Negation, pitching a Whir of Invention to stop the Mindbreak, and get Jordan's Pilferer exiled. With Hidden then resolving his Surveil trigger, not milling any more cards. With Hidden then ending his turn, tapping Glarb once again to ping Hashaton, and Surveil, keeping the same cards on top. Jordan then plays out an Otawara as land for turn, and for 6 casts a Consecrated Sphinx.
Fuck off.
Sorry, did you just hard cast a Consecrated Sphinx?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
It's only 6 mana.
Fuck me. I have to pass. Because I
Yeah.
spent the last 2 turns dealing with this shit.
Yep. That's the plan.
I mean, to be fair, the counterspells that you did use wouldn't have stopped the Sphinx.
I'll pass.
True. Well, it's specifically that my mana is all whack.
I'm passing.
I don't have anything either.
Woo!
I used my Deadly Rollick and I used the Legolas Squig Reflexes. With Jordan at end step, discarding a Dark Ritual due to hand size. Cal then untaps and draws for turn, with Jordan drawing 2. Cal then plays out a Cavern of Souls, has land for turn, naming Rogues. And then for 2, has a Tainted Pact. The pact resolves as they start exiling cards off the top, stopping as they find a Thassa's off the top. They then follow that up by casting the Thoracle into a Demonic Consultation to win Cal the game. Game review. Man, that game was a blast, and I was in stitches listening to Cal have to counter that Retraction Helix. This was a cool game with a bunch of different interaction points. I realized that a better line probably would have been for me to use Scheming Symmetry to tutor Valley Floodcaller and draw it off the One Ring, instead of spending 4 on the Beseech. And while I know hindsight is 20/20, I also think that Chris might have let Delaney go, as it already drew him a bunch of cards, and Cal had basically done nothing all game, so it was pretty obvious that they had some sort of counterspells. But man, did Glarb feel great, and maybe I got a little overzealous trying to keep the board clear, but the value! Anyways, Chicago was a blast, and I'll have plenty more great games that I recorded coming up in the following weeks, so stay tuned. Thanks to everyone that joined for the game, and before everyone leaves, I want to thank our special Patreon members, Slyfox, and Holy Septic for the support of the channel, along with all of our other Patreon supporters as well. And remember, never give up, even if you're dead on board. I'll see you guys later.